Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Not Tuesday show. My name is James Chen, and sorry again for missing last week. Just did not have the ability to get the show started for good reasons. I was busy during the course of the day, but figured I'd come here right before Thanksgiving, do a quick little show here. Probably not going to be too long of an episode because it's just going to be kind of a mostly off the cuff kind of episode here. Talking to you guys, and I just felt like it would be a good call right now to be really because Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. I just kind of wanted to give a thanks basically and talk about the things that I am actually thankful for in the FGC, because one of the things that's commonly happens with talk shows like this and with podcasts is you want to talk about the drama and talk about the crazy things that are going on in the FGC, and it always sounds like things are going crazy and awful and everything, but honestly the FGC is still a wonderful place. There's still a lot of great people here. There's a lot of great things going on in the FGC. And, I just kind of wanted to spend a week talking about that a little bit, talking about the things that I'm grateful for the FGC for. But before we do that, I usually do spend a few... Oh, that's actually really cool, Duck Helmet. Glad to hear that Street Fighter V is not as confusing now. Just a lot more frame data knowledge and understanding and everything. Yeah, definitely makes it a little bit easier. But before we get started with the Thanksgiving stuff, I do want to talk a little about the fighting game news. And of course, that is that Kiske has actually been added to the game. And Jesus, you know what? Oh man, I need to get this fixed over here, because normally what I actually do is I will play the trailer on this monitor over here so you guys can see it, but this monitor is not working for me anymore. So this monitor kind of died on me. I could try to fix it a little. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, Street Fighter V is very much not a very good beginner game. I've often said that Street Fighter V is one of the hardest fighting games to learn, which is ironic because a lot of people used to get mad at it for being dumbed down and simplified, but that is not the case at all. And get this monitor working really quick. Sometimes I can't get it working. It is not working. Oh, there it is. Oh, sweet. Okay. Monitor is definitely dying though, but I definitely need to get a replacement. So, but let's actually do this here. Let's pull this up over here and let's take a look at some of the Sin trailer and everything. There we go. That's much better. Should have had this prepared ahead of time. So let's do this. Sin Kiske Strive. Here we go. There it is. Let's go to Arc System Works channel here. Let's take a look at this Sin trailer over here. So obviously he was in the second story mode, if you guys weren't aware of it. Oh yeah, no, my monitor is actually dying, Tubo. My monitor is dying at this point in time. It just doesn't turn on, so not really a technical difficulty, just more hardware failure. So gotta get that taken care of. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this over here. Yeah, there you go. So now we have this over here. So let's watch the Sin trailer really quick.
I'll say sorry in advance, in case I make you cry.
Whoa! Okay, we are definitely running into some technical difficulties here. What the hell? Dude, did you see that? That was crazy. Yo, okay, hang on a second. Now I'm running into technical difficulties. Okay, hang on a second. Let's do this, shall we? Okay. Man, this has not happened in a long time. I have definitely not had any technical difficulties like this in a long time. But welcome to pre-Thanksgiving over here. Let's do this here. Hopefully that should fix it over here. So let's try this again. Wink. Here we go.
I'll say sorry in advance.
There we go.
In case I make you cry.
Obviously he was in the second story mode.
Let's see what you got. Let's get this over with. Mom's waiting. You know your timetables yet? I do. Oh, come on, old man. Stop pulling your punches. Best victory ever. Out of gas. Taste it.
Still eats.
We're friends now, right?
Although we need to figure out what the reason he eats for now is.
Strong folks are even fed. Now it's time to heat up. All right, bring it on. Yeah, you see that? Tyrant! Wait! That's my line, Dad.
Now, what's interesting about this trailer is, and yeah, he's coming out in 2 days, so he is basically there in 2 days, and as you can see right here, the next two characters will be in 2023. So it'll be a little bit. So what is that? August, September, October, November. So almost 4 months between Bridget and Sin, which is really interesting to me because honestly, it feels like it's been a while since we've gotten a character update. And Sin, I mean, what's interesting about it is, you know, I've talked about this in the past, but, you know, with Season 1 DLC and with Season 2 DLC, it felt like they kept trying to get a little more complicated with the characters as they went. I feel like a lot of the characters got a lot crazier as time went on, as they keep getting released. Even Bridget is pretty complex as a character in a way, just because you got to figure out all the stuff that you want to do with the yo-yo and everything. However, it seems to me that Sin doesn't seem to be a particularly crazy character. Now, he still has this, you know, concept of chaining moves and follow-ups and stuff like that, but he's much more simpler compared to what he was in Exerd. But he looks like he's going to be a pretty straightforward character. So if he's strong, if he's good, I think he's going to be a really popular character, and a lot of people going to be coming back in to play this character here. So like I said, he looks pretty straightforward. He's a character that's just going to try to rush you down, not going to be a character that's going to be very setup heavy. He seems like, I mean, especially with the dash cancels and stuff like that, he seems like he's going to be a lot of just kind of like a feel character. So less technical, more just, you know, making the decisions to do what it is that you want to do at that particular moment. So I think Sin is actually going to be a pretty like beginner friendly character. That's how it looks to me so far. Especially because we don't have all the information about what Sin will do, because let's take a look at this actual starter guide for him over here now. So Arx has put this out, and like I said, he seems pretty straightforward. So let's take a listen to the narrator
Chen has
here.
access to powerful follow-ups after his arsenal of useful special moves. Keep the opponent under pressure with his strong mix-up at close range and excellent pokes at mid-range. Stamina. It costs stamina to use the follow-ups for certain special moves.
So this is similar to his food gauge from the last game, except the food gauge was much longer. There was a lot more chunks, and the way that he worked is you could continually chain his specials into other specials. And if you did that, he would basically get hungrier and hungrier. And if you run out, then you weren't able to do like a lot of the moves. So it cost a block to do special moves, but then it cost 2 blocks, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, to do the chains. And so basically you had to do a lot of things to knock the enemy down and cancel into eating food to be able to get your hunger gauge fuller again. So that way you don't run into that problem. He was about resource management. And the funny thing is, Nagoriyuki kind of, I feel like, took that role. So Nagoriyuki, he's worried about filling up his blood gauge. Sin was worried about emptying his blood gauge. Very, very similar kind of style thing. So I think that's why in this game they decided not to do that with Sin, because I feel like Nagoriyuki already kind of covered that factor a little bit. So he still has the stamina gauge, but it doesn't look like it's going to be something that you could empty and tire out, because it's just a gauge that normally refills. So it just seems like this is going to be something that you're just going to it's just another resource to manage for Sin, and not something to worry about accidentally starving yourself and finding yourself in a very weak condition. Because again, when you ran out of your hunger gauge in Exerd, you had to find an opportunity to eat food. So a lot of times people would eat food into YRC just to keep themselves safe and such. So yeah, you were definitely, in the last game, you were playing a lot of Hunger Games with this character.
These follow-ups cannot be performed with less than 1 bar of stamina.
And instead of canceling specials into specials, the specials just have a like a canned follow-up, it seems like.
Stamina recovers over time, but be careful, as there is a time frame right after using stamina before it recovers.
See, there it looked like
Time frame
did it.
right after using stamina before
Beak
it
driver
recovers.
into that looked like the beak driver into the elk hunt. So maybe he can cancel specials into specials still, and they just didn't really mention it, because that's what that looks like. Because I'm pretty sure that's elk hunt right there, not the follow-up, unless I'm mistaken. We'll see in just a second.
Beak driver. Sin strikes forward with his flag.
Now, this move does not reach nearly as far as it did in Exerd, but in Exerd you could also charge it up, so it would increase the length by holding the move, and so holding the button. So you hold the button down and it would reach really far and cause wall splats. Doesn't quite have the same range in this game though, it looks like.
This move works well as a mid-range poke or in combos due to its excellent range. Inputting heavy slash again on hit.
Oh no, that is just the follow-up. Okay, so what we saw was the follow-up, so it's not chain into chain.
Or block performs a powerful follow-up lunge attack. The follow-up covers a lot of space quickly, meaning it can combo even after hitting the opponent with beak driver from maximum range. Hawkbaker.
What is with the names of his moves anyway? I see Super Moose saying elk hunt is such a poor name. And you know what? I mean, Hawkbaker, like, Hawkbaker always to me sounds like the name of a voice actor. Because I know there's like a Troy Baker out there, but I just imagine someone just, like some actor being out there, I'm Hawkbaker, you know?
2-hit attack with invincibility.
So he's got a DP again. In Exerd, his DP was just a standstill, kind of like in place, like almost kind of like, I want to say like a lightning rod kind of thing.
As Sin leaps up during the attack.
But this becomes an actual DP. But the crazy thing about this one is I need to know what the frame data is of this thing, because how punishable is this? This looks like it's, I mean, he has the follow-up that can frame trap you. So his DP might actually be really scary to deal with. So again, I feel like this character is going to be very beginner friendly.
It works well against aerial opponents.
So it looks like it lags a lot when it lands, but like I said, you can cancel into the follow-up. Hawkbaker sounds like one of the fake American names. Is it actually true that the Simpsons episode where they did the Death Note parody, that all the names that Lisa Simpson wrote in the book were actually those basketball names? Was that actually true with those baseball names from that one Japanese game, the fake names? I think they actually used those. I wasn't sure if that was like a Photoshop edit or something, because that was absolutely hilarious.
Inputting slash again on hit or block performs a powerful follow-up strike.
There you go. So what I'm guessing is they're both probably really punishable, and you just kind of have to either OS it or just know which one, you know, and try to just bait out the right response and punish.
You can use it to hit the opponent if they try to punish you when Sin lands after Hawk Baker.
So the question is, is there a timing that you can still block the follow-up and then hit a button? And if he doesn't do the follow-up, you can still punish the Hawk Baker. See, that's the question. Can you sort of pseudo block OS against the Hawk Baker so it's not safe? That's the question.
Hoof stomp. Sin leaps forward as he performs an overhead attack.
Hoof stomp.
He can avoid low-hitting attacks and ground throws during this attack.
People were joking that he actually has the Greed Sever before Kai ever got his Greed Sever back.
Inputting slash again on hit or block performs a powerful follow-up strike. The follow-up opens up space between you and the opponent, making it
Hey, thank you for the gift sub, Psycho Blue. Appreciate
more
it.
challenging to punish on block. Elk Hunt. A sliding lunge attack that hits low. As it covers a lot of distance,
It's a lot slower, it looks like. Elk Hunt was definitely a lot more similar to the to Kai's slide move in the previous game. It still took a while to hit, but it feels
works
slower
well
in
as a
this
surprise
one,
attack
not
from
sure.
mid-range.
What does that say on his bags? Hello? Is that what that says? He has hello bags?
Inputting kick again on hit or block performs a powerful follow-up strike. The follow-up leaves Sin at an advantage on block, making it a good starting point for your offense.
So good.
Gazelle Step. Sin moves
So he's definitely just named after animals. Everything is named after animals for some reason.
forward quickly. This can be used after certain special moves and their follow-ups. Switch up your timing with this move and keep the opponent on their toes. Still growing. Sin takes out food and eats it. This move has no attack hitbox, but something good happens after Sin eats.
So this is the one that we're wondering. We don't know what this does. Like, it actually... Whoa! I hit the button and it rewound me all the way back. All right, here we go. So people have noticed that the first one he eats here powers up something, but we can't tell what it does. There's no like visual... Well, actually, did he gain health?
Still growing.
So his health is at
Sin
the eye.
takes out food.
So he ate there. Nothing really happened. Now this one here, this big giant piece of meat that he eats.
This move has
I didn't see. Nothing happened again.
no attack hitbox, but
this one, when he eats the ice cream,
something
it
good
looks like he gains a ton
and
of
eats it.
meter.
This move has no attack hitbox.
Whoa, was that a cut? Was that an animation
Sin takes
cut
out
in there?
food and eats it. This move has no attack hitbox.
Yeah, there's a cut there. Okay, so he gained a little meter. So this meter is already up, and then he eats again. So the ice cream definitely gives him a ton of meter here. Gives him a ton of the super meter gauge down there.
This move has no attack hitbox, but something good happens
like
after
that.
Sin.
Okay, that one gave him health.
This move has no attack hitbox.
So this
but
one gives him
something
meter.
good happens after.
And then what is that? Is that a lizard? Is he eating a lizard? Is he eating an iguana?
Sin.
But yeah, that one definitely gave him
This
more
move
health,
has
it
no
looks
attack
like.
hitbox, but
Let's
something
see.
good happens after.
Oh, no. That was another cut. He already has the extra health.
Sin eat.
Oh, but that definitely still gave him a lot of health. So if he eats the iguana, he gains a lot of health.
RTL. Sin lunges forward quickly as he unleashes an invincible strike. Inputting a direction and heavy slash can change the trajectory up to 2 times.
This is what he had before.
Inputting heavy slash
But God, that's a lot of
can
damage,
change
though.
the trajectory up to 2 times.
And you'll see a
Inputting
little bit
heavy
later
slash
on, he even has a
performs
follow-up.
powerful follow-up attack. The follow-up drains the entire tension gauge when it activates.
Look at the damage on that. Dude, that's just super into follow-up. Now, obviously, that's 2 supers because he says he drains the rest of his attention gauge. They didn't say if he needs to have 2 bars. Like, I don't know if you just have a little bit in attention gain, it just drains the rest of it. I'm guessing you need to have 2 full super meter bars in order to do this follow-up.
Use this move in combos, or take advantage of the invincibility on startup to interrupt the opponent's strings.
But that is a ton of
Tyrant
damage.
Barrel. Sin unleashes an attack with a massive shockwave forward. Inputting punch again performs a powerful follow-up.
Now, see, like, look
Forward.
at this one here. This is interesting because, yeah, so here's the
Inputting
first
punch
hit.
again performs a powerful follow-up strike.
Decent damage.
You can delay the timing of the attack by holding punch,
I
and it
see.
deals
Okay,
additional
so
damage.
the
Can delay
follow-up doesn't
punch
actually
again,
drain any
performs a
meter
powerful
then.
follow-up strike. You can delay the timing of the attack by holding punch, and it deals additional damage if the follow-up connects with the right timing.
Oh, is that what it is, Scorpion's Pupil? Did they have a blog post about this? It says it takes everything above 50 and scales based on how much you had. So that last hit does different amounts of damage based on the amount of meter you have left. Oh,
Sin
it was on
can
the IGN presentation.
Perform
Got
useful
it.
follow-up moves by expending his unique stamina gauge. Each follow-up has its own strengths, such as reducing Sin's recovery or lunging forward rapidly. From mid-range, you can use his standing far slash and beak driver as pokes. Make good use of elk hunt when you want to approach the opponent. Once you're in, you can mix up a blocking opponent with his low attack, forward kick, and overhead, hoof stomp. Sin will be at an advantage when forward kick is blocked, so you can stay on the offense. When you've got max tension, go for huge damage with the follow-up from RTL. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, so like I said, I feel like Sin is going to be a pretty straightforward character. He seems like he's going to be pretty straightforward and fun to play as well. So if you're looking for someone who's not necessarily as complex, because like I said, if we think about all the DLC that we've gotten for the game so far, right? So the first DLC was not Gold Lewis, right? Who was the first DLC? Shoot. Because Gold Lewis is complicated. Oh, Jacko. That's right. Jacko is complicated. Gold Lewis is complicated. So Gold Lewis was first. So Gold Lewis is complicated. Jacko is complicated. Happy Chaos is complicated. Biken is decently complicated as well because she's not very, very straightforward and she's weird, right? Like, I don't know if she's necessarily beginner friendly. She might be the simplest of the season 1, but then Bridget came out and Bridget's also not particularly straightforward either. So it really felt like that Arxis was going for a lot of their weirder characters during the DLC. But like I said, Sin seems pretty straightforward. I mean, that stamina gauge thing is not nearly as complicated and like worried about managing things as the food gauge was in Exert. He just feels like, I mean, it's literally just an alternate super meter, really. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of the interesting things. Valkyrion7 says, the very difficult DLC characters made me lose interest, but I see why they put them as DLC. And that was actually something that I had thought about too, you know, seeing how complex the DLC was. Like, they hadn't made a DLC character for people who want more straightforward character. Like, they haven't made a beginner-friendly DLC character yet in the game. And so I'm hoping Sin will actually kind of cover that ground a little bit and, you know, help bring in a lot more of the beginner players. Yeah, but Guilty Gear is all about the weird characters, but that's what a lot of people were kind of frustrated with Strive with when it first released, is that the characters were a little more straightforward than they used to be, right? And they were like, man, these complicated characters aren't complicated at all. And then the DLC started coming out, and then it was like, well, maybe, you know, maybe these guys are pretty complicated. This is cool. But they haven't come out with a straightforward character in a while, so I think Sin is actually a really good spot for that. And, you know, Sin just as a character design, as a personality, I think has a lot of appeal, right? I mean, I don't know, like, Sin doesn't appeal to me as a character necessarily, but like I think a lot of people like him, think he's cool, so I think he's a good character for a lot of people to pick up. Oh yeah, Happy Chaos is a huge problem, and one of the things about this game right now that is kind of upsetting is, you know, similar to KOF, that they're not coming out with any patches. However, you know, we're living in a different age where all we want are patches, and that might not necessarily be the right answer. And so the fact that we're not getting balance patches for Strive or for KOF 15, you know, while a lot of people are going to be frustrated, there's a lot of justification to it. However, it really just depends on how broken the broken characters are. So Cronin obviously is just like way too strong in 15. Everybody wants that character nerfed. Happy Chaos, the only thing about Happy Chaos is that Happy Chaos is very difficult to use. However, in the right hands, Happy Chaos is clearly very, very strong. Now, is he wildly broken? Like some people would argue that Cronin might be the most broken character in a fighting game, in their fighting game, in years. And I'm not even sure if Happy Chaos necessarily falls into that category, mostly because characters like Nagoriyuki exist, right? Okay, Swiftmaster, yes, Swiftmaster for sure. On launch, Swiftmaster was definitely a problem. Oh, man. So, in any case, Sin is coming out in a couple of days. I'll probably mess with him on stream a little bit on Friday if I get the chance. Yeah, it's weird that DNF just kind of disappeared, but it's an indication and maybe even something to talk about as well. It happened to MK11 a little bit, and it's happening to DNF, but the lack of developer support seems to be the biggest death knell for a game over everything. When people have given up hope that the game will be changed, it seems like people don't want to play it anymore. It's crazy. Like, honestly, as soon as they announced MK11 was getting no more changes, you know, and that's the thing. I thought DNF Duel was a fantastic game. I love that game. I thought it was great because of how ridiculously kind of broken and wild it was. You know, it's been one of the first old school style games, evidenced by the fact that, like, for example, Yipes loves the game, right? Mr. MVC2 loves DNF Duel. So I think DNF Duel is actually really cool, but yeah, I mean, DBFZ has a strong player base, and it's getting rollback. It's like developers keep showing that they're doing something with it. MVCI is all right. DNF, I mean, MVCI is okay. I wouldn't say it has a thriving player base, but people still keep playing it. So, right, exactly. What Mike Lee says in the chat here is that DNF, people always say, make a game where everybody's strong, and then they did, and now everybody gets mad. Everybody gets mad. Right. MVCI has a consistent player base, is a good way of putting it, for sure. But, again, you see from the KOF 15 kind of situation, a lot of people getting frustrated by the lack of patches, right? So a lot of people are just like, the last patch that came out fixed the music bug, and everybody was like, where's the Cronin nerfs? Like, people want Cronin nerfs really, really, really badly. So, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, this is a topic all in itself. Make a game where every character is broken. People say they want that, but it's not what people. Fighting games are like this, right? People always say we want this, and when they get it, they don't like it. That's how fighting games generally work. Oh, man. And you know what? Scorpion's Pupil actually has a really strong point, too, is that there's just too many games out there right now, and it's really, really difficult. So if you want every character broken, just play ST. Truish and false. I will say, mashing 360, substitute ST with Vampire Savior. And then, yes, that's what we got. And that's why I like DNF Duel. DNF Duel was the closest thing to a Vampire Savior type game that I had seen in such a long time. It was one of the reasons why I took to DNF Duel so well at first. It's because I liked the Vampire Savior-ness of it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's weird because I thought DNF Duel was fantastic. I thought it was a lot of fun. Honestly, you could probably go a long way in that game by adding air blocking. I think that would make people feel a little more comfortable with the game, but obviously would destroy the balance of how it plays right now. But the biggest problem right now is just that, it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything to the game. It doesn't seem like they're going to do anything to the game. So, right, you never get to do anything, but that's what I mean is, like, for example, if you air block, maybe that drains a ton of your guard meter a lot faster, or, stuff like that. There's ways to balance it. Like I said, in any fighting game, any idea, any system you come up with, there's a way to balance it. You could intelligently balance it. Anytime someone says this is a stupid mechanic, they're wrong, because the mechanic is actually good, because if you balance around it correctly, it's fine, right? So, like, in the context of every fighting game, as long as you design the system intelligently, it'll work. It'll work. I guarantee you it'll work, no problem. So like I said, you could do that, and that way the brokenness of DNF Duel would feel a little more manageable for the casuals, right? As we said, who said it up at the top? Casuals don't want that, is what Mike said, right? So casuals don't want that. So adding air blocking would make more casuals be able to play DNF Duel, but then you'd have to rebalance a ton of stuff. So there's no stupid mechanisms, just stupid people. There are some stupid mechanics, but I mean, I could definitely name a couple of probably just bad ideas. Like, there are some mechanics that probably should never come back in a fighting game, no matter how you balance it, such as the instant kills in Guilty Gear, the original Guilty Gear. Right? The original Guilty Gear, if I just defended, you could trigger an animation, and if I input quarter circle forward button and you don't input quarter circle forward button in time, you die. Doesn't matter how much health you have, it doesn't matter how many rounds you have left, you died. The game ended. Like, literally, it would be round one fight, someone jumps, I just defend, input, you forgot to input, game over. That was it. And that was the end of the game. So, obviously there are some bad mechanics. There are some bad mechanics out there. So things like that have existed before and are not necessarily good. But in any case, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Sin is coming out here. I hope he does bring back a few more players, but I mean, it has been a while since the Bridget patch. I mean, we haven't gotten a lot of balance patches, and like I said, Bridget was almost just shy of 4 months ago. So it really feels like Guilty Gear has been kind of quiet for a little bit. So, it's interesting because as much as balance patches, we don't want to have too many balance patches. Balance patches always seem to breathe a little bit of life back into a game. So I almost feel like new characters, wait a couple of months, balance patch, wait a couple of months, new character, wait a couple of months, balance patch. Like a balance patch every 4 months would actually be not too terrible of a timing, and you pepper it with characters in between and you keep the interest in your game, but we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how he's gonna end up in the game. I've seen from a lot of people that it seems like Bridget's not considered very strong right now. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of the Guilty Gear just from I haven't done the Series E. The Series E is on hiatus right now. Hopefully Series E will be back for Guilty Gear, and then I'll be able to bone up on Guilty Gear again a little bit. But I've heard Bridget's not particularly strong right now, but probably Series E is the esports arena series that I do commentary for on Thursdays when it was going. We've gone through 2 seasons already, and we're waiting for a season 3 right now. But Strive would definitely benefit from ranked. Honestly, their lobby system, and I was going to talk about this a little bit later on today as well, so I'll save it for then. But yeah, having a true ranked system for Strive would probably have helped a lot, honestly. So, but yeah, we'll see how Sin affects it. Again, oh God, I'll talk about. I was gonna mention something else about Guilty Gear. I'll save it for a little bit later as well. So, what I wanted to do for today's episode, like I said, not going to be particularly a long episode, but I just kind of wanted to, the tower system. See, again, Mike, I agree with you. I like the lobby system. I like the tower system. I just think a lot of its implementation was bad, and I don't think there was enough floors. Like, there should have been 1 through 10, and they should have realized as time went on, they should have thought about adding 11 through 20 before you get to Celestial. They needed to spread it out a little bit more. The tower system, because the problem is, for a lot of people who know fighting games, it's like, play your test matches and we'll throw you into a floor right away. I played my test matches, lobby 6. I played 3 games. Floor 7, 3 games, floor 8, 3 games, floor 9, and then floor 10. And all of a sudden, in just an hour, I'm at floor 10. And then from there, you're either going to fight the most sweaty players in the world, or you fight people that literally still aren't sure what they're doing, because the difficulty, the skill level between floors 6 through 9 were not that crazy. And so it was a little bit too easy to jump floors. Honestly, instead of adding 11 through 20 and making so many floors so that you split everyone apart, they need to shift the skill levels down a little bit more. So, because basically right now, floors 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I feel like are completely useless. I feel like they're completely useless. I feel like Guilty Gear Strive needs to make it so that floors 1, 2, 3, and interrupting sets with rank up and down is really annoying. It should wait until at least after the set completes and then let you rank up or down. So obviously a lot of things are problematic. So Celestial Range was best players in the world all the way down that learned one setup that gimmicked their way to 5 wins. Yeah. Again, Celestial was a neat idea. A lot of it was a neat idea, and a lot of it is really cool. It's just a lot of it was poorly implemented. And the problem with it is you can kind of tell Arxis is either stretched thin or they just don't have the staff. But the lobby itself hasn't changed a lot. They're adding characters, they're doing all this other stuff, but the lobby system itself hasn't changed. And that is something that needs to be changed very badly, because that's one of the reasons why I don't play Guilty Gear Strive all that much, is because I just feel like ranked is, I like skill-based matchmaking because I like playing at what the game feels like is my level, because it's surprisingly pretty accurate a lot of the times. Yes, and that's how I feel too, Mike, that the experiments are good things to do. I like that they tried. I'd rather them try than not try. Let's just put it that way. So, because so it's interesting. I just got two comments in a row. Super Moose says, the standard ranking paradigm of Iron and Challenger just works. Just do that. It's not hard. And then Mike says, the old ranking system didn't work. The problem is, you're both right. You are both absolutely right. It's just for different audiences, one works, and the other audience, it doesn't work, right? Ranked is not fun. Ranked is miserable. But if you are the kind of player who wants to get good and has that drive, ranked works. But if you are a player who just wants to have fun, ranked doesn't work, because all you do is just sit there and watch this number go up and down. And it's impossible for players not to get affected by that, right? It's hard not to get, oh shit, no, Zynak isn't coming back on. I forgot to change the name of the show here. Sorry. Whoops. Sorry. I forgot to change the name on the channel. So, but yeah, but that's the thing, is if you're playing just for fun, then ranked isn't for you. But the problem is, then you don't really have a lot of options, because when you play casual matches, it's not really skill based, right? The casual matches, they just kind of pair you up with whoever, if I'm not mistaken. You know, so like in Street Fighter, if I don't do ranked, but I do casual matches, is it still skill-based, or is it they just throw you to whoever? In any case, the lobby system works and it doesn't work. The ranking system works and it doesn't work. The problem with it is that we haven't figured out a way to make online work for both. And that's the key, and that's what I'm hoping that Street Fighter 6 does really well. Oh, so casual in Street Fighter 5 is by rank. So they do try to do skill-based matchmaking even in casuals, huh? Oh, okay, that's actually really important. Now I might actually try to use that feature a little bit more. Because if that's actually still skill-based matchmaking in casual, that's actually really, really strong. However, of course, you need to have the player base, right? The player base has to exist. I tried to play Vampire Savior online recently, and I couldn't because there's no player base. But Street Fighter 5, however, every time I play it, I run into matches. Like, there's still a ton of people playing Street Fighter 5. So by all intents and purposes, Street Fighter 5 is still the best online game to play right now, because it just has the biggest player base, and that's what's always going to drive people to play, is just having the people to challenge. So, but in any case, I did want to spend a little bit of time today. So I didn't want to talk about anything. Sup, Fame? I just didn't want to spend today talking about anything super particularly controversial or anything like that. Just kind of wanted to take a little bit of time with Thanksgiving coming around the corner. You know, a lot of times we spend a lot of discussions in the fighting game community just kind of complaining, oh, where's my patch for Cronin? Oh my God, da 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 da. Like, we're always kind of angry and mad and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to just take a little time to just kind of wax nostalgic about the FGC and just kind of talk about what I'm actually thankful for. You know, I'll definitely talk about a few things that I'm still mad about, but I'm definitely thankful for a lot of things about the fighting game community because, you know, obviously, you know, from my perspective, you know, I have basically been playing fighting games for 30 years now. 30 years. Jesus, like, so, yeah, because Street Fighter came out in 1991, 1992. So, yeah, I have been playing fighting games for over 30 years now. And honestly, like, this is my life. This is what I've dedicated my life to. This is what I've decided to just kind of focus on. And honestly, like when I look back at what the fighting game community has given me, I can't even be mad. Like I'm really thankful for all of the opportunities that the fighting game community has given me. I mean, Exilian in the chat right now, I just met him in person in Portland because I went to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for Tetris. And honestly, I probably wouldn't be commentating the Classic Tetris World Championships if I wasn't commentating fighting games first, right? So, even though Tetris has been a passion of mine all along, I probably would have never gotten to that point without the fighting game community. And obviously, I'm not thankful to the fighting game community for Tetris, but I'm just saying, like, the opportunities that it has provided me, the sheer amount of people that I've been able to meet, like a lot of the people in the chat here, I know in person. And, I've just been very, very grateful for this pastime, for giving me this kind of sense of purpose, right? I mean, as most people know, 5 years ago I was just a programmer at a software company, and and I was making my money and doing my thing, but honestly, it's just one of those things that you look at and you're like, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to remember? Like when I'm on my deathbed and I'm like looking back on my life, am I going to remember all the hours that I put into this company? I was like, when I was in college, there wasn't any such thing as being woke. Okay. People were not woke back then. Society was a very different kind of thing. And yet at that time, I was woke for a time when there was no woke. I already was kind of in this mode where I was like, why are we doing this? Like, people should be enjoying their lives. Schools aren't teaching us the right things, blah, 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 blah. I was already like that. And so, the fact that I have decided to go this FGC route, I mean, it really, it has given me the ability, and again, it sucks because, am I financially secure? Not even close, right? Like, but again, this is the life I knew that was going to happen. Like, that was a decision that I consciously made. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a starving artist for a while because I really want to pursue this passion. And when you actually look at, where this hobby has taken me personally, I have just managed to meet so many people, and I have been able to reach out and, preach the gospel of fighting games to so many people. And I have been able to travel so many places, and so few people get to travel at the age that I am at. Most people have to wait until they're 60 when they're retired, and then they can finally travel. But, throughout my 30s, throughout my 40s, I've been traveling all over the place. I mean, like, God, like, I wrote this down, and I think I've been to, how many states have I actually been to now? Let me see here. I've been to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I've been to half the states. I've actually, like, I don't count like landing and taking off kind of thing. Like, I've actually landed and wandered around 24 of the 50 states. I've been to 3 of the provinces in Canada. I've been to Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to Puerto Rico. And then I've been to the Dominican Republic. I've been to Chile. I've gone to France. I've been to Germany. I've been to Spain. I've been to Poland. I've been to Taiwan. I've been to Japan. I've been to Kuwait. Like, these are the places that I've managed to go. I went to Brazil and beat up a bunch of people in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. There was that too. Yes, there was that too. And also, thank you, Hello Kitty, for your comment as well. But, you know, honestly, like, it's been amazing because I gotta say, like, going to the Dominican Republic, to Chile, to Spain, to Kuwait, to Japan, to all these different places, and getting to meet all of the fighting game people from around the world. And one of the most glorious, most wonderful things about this too is that, you know, the world spends all of its time telling us that we're different people. The world spends most of its time trying to show us that we're different, that we have conflicts, that we're othering people a lot. Like, oh, this group of people are weird because they do this crazy custom. Whoa, that's bizarre, you know? Oh my goodness, kind of thing. The thing that I have discovered traveling from country to country to country is how much we're actually all the same. And it's really kind of wonderful because let me tell you something. Geek culture is geek culture. It doesn't matter where you go, man. Like, it's the same. Like, you would think going to Kuwait, like, you would think like, oh, I went to Kuwait and, you know, I would expect to see everyone covered up and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, like, they have cosplayers. They don't care. Like, they're just doing, like, their cosplaying is mad serious in Kuwait, dude. Like, these guys put in so much effort into their cosplaying, and when their cosplaying contests come up, it's not just them coming up on the stage and doing a pose. Like, they literally record audio that they play of them like talking and doing full-on battle routines and stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of cosplay depth that they get into in Kuwait. You know, like, I watched their cosplay contest there, and yeah, they would have like 3 people come up, or even one guy was cosplaying as the Joker, and he just had this whole routine where he brought out this giant Joker chair, and he did all this stuff, walking around and pointing and like doing. It's like a performance. It's not even just I'm in my costumes. And you know, you go to all these different countries, and you think like, wow, how different is it going to be at this place? And one of the wonderful things that you learn is that, you know, it's really everybody's kind of the same, man. Like, everybody just loves having something to love. And honestly, that's kind of what makes me happy about fighting games, right? That's what, you know, I do love about the FGC is that, you know, like I said, all of this has been from my personal perspective, but even from just being able to share this hobby around the world, you know, I mean, I'm glad I'm able to show people why fighting games are something so great. You know, when Tokido wins and, you know, I cried for a reason, right? Is because what Tokido said, you know, meant that fighting games were worth his time. Because I often think about this myself. I'm like, God, I've spent like 3/4 of my life now playing fighting games, and over like about 3/4 of my life playing fighting games. I'm like, man, what could I have done if I didn't play fighting games? Maybe I could have like contributed to society or something, or maybe I could have, you know, did this, or maybe I could be, you know, married with a family and own a big house because I'm just making all my programming money and all that stuff like that. But I don't know if I'd prefer that. I really don't know if I'd prefer that. You know, thinking about it, you know, yeah, exactly. It sounds boring. I've talked about it a little bit earlier, you know, like I when I'm on my deathbed, am I going to be like, yo, I earned a lot of money and bought a nice house? Or am I going to be lying on my deathbed and being like, yo, I'm in Street Fighter 6. I am fucking in Street Fighter 6. Like, my picture and my voice is in the game of the franchise that I love to death. You know, like, what am I going to remember? Am I going to remember scrimping for vacation days to try to travel somewhere? Am I going to remember getting paid 3 times to go to Japan and enjoying the fuck out of Tokyo? And it's just been so amazing. Like, God, I have never been to Japan until Evo Japan. So I have been to Japan 3 times now because of Evo Japan, and each one of those trips have been absolutely remarkable. And honestly, if it wasn't for fighting games, I probably still have never been to Japan at this point. And so yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of preferring where I'm at right now. To be honest with you. And, I am grateful for that, but I'm also grateful that there are so many people out there who are also enjoying this trip along with me. Obviously, a lot of you aren't as invested as I am. I'm trying to make this my career, all this stuff like this. But, for those of you who do just sit there and watch at home and enjoy it and get thrilled by watching a lot of the tournament matches and stuff and seeing the drama and getting emotional with me when I get emotional, or getting hype when you see your favorite player win and all that stuff like that. I mean, I'm thankful for you guys, because you are who we're putting the show on for, and as much as we talk about grassroots, we played for pride and all this stuff and trying to be all righteous and whatever like that, dude. I want people to watch this stuff, man. I want people to watch this stuff. I want you guys to see how awesome Tokido and Justin Wong and Punk the God and all these other players are. I want them to be heroes. So, I'm thankful for the players as well for always putting in that continued effort, Yeah, it's okay to give things up to pursue your passions in life, says Duck Helmet. And yeah, absolutely. That's how I kind of feel at this point in time. So it's hard to say that I would kind of regret, going the path that I've gone, because oftentimes I think about, relationships I've had in the past where I was like, what if that relationship worked out 10 years ago? Would I be in Street Fighter 6? Would I be commentating fighting games like this? And a lot of times I wonder, maybe not. And so a lot of times I'm thinking to myself, maybe this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. And yeah, I mean, again, so Fanta says, you, along with fighting games, have helped me through so much. And that's another thing, too. I know so many people who have been able to turn their lives around because of fighting games, whether as a player, as a producer, as a tournament organizer, or even as a viewer. Fighting games have done so much to benefit so many people. And again, this is not just fighting games are great, the FGC is great. Obviously, there's issues, there's problems, people have gotten hurt, there's a lot of bad things that have happened, and that is why I fight so hard to try to make things a little bit better in the FGC as well. It's obviously far from perfect, far from, being as good as I would like it to be. But at the same time, that doesn't mean we should ignore a lot of the good that it has done. I've told a lot of stories already of, the things that it's done for people. A lot of people who would not have been able to find who they are. Obviously players like, Ricky Ortiz, Knuckle Dew, Lost Soul. There's so many players that I can talk about that have told me their stories of how fighting games essentially have saved them, right? Fighting games took them onto a different path in life or allowed them to be someone who they are. And I think that's important. All right, I'm not sure how that works, Mike, but I definitely believe it. I definitely believe it. But it's crazy, and it's one of those things that I'm very grateful for. I'm very thankful for, and so I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the course of everything going. And like I said, it doesn't mean that FGC is perfect, and it does mean that we're trying to make it better all the time. We're always trying to do better in the FGC, and there's a lot of places to improve. But again, having this community, having something to fight for, having something to try to improve, to make more welcome to everybody, to be more inclusive, to be a good space for just about anybody, is something I'm greatly thankful for. I will be honest with you, if it wasn't for the FGC, I don't know if my views towards, gender fluidity would be the same way that it is right now. I don't know if, hell, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, I used to be one of those people that would just be like making fun of, furries, for example. And then with, people like Sonic Fox really helping me open my eyes to, different people, different kinds of, cultures, and people just wanting to be people, and how the fighting game community never seemed to discriminate, right? So Ricky Ortiz was a player that, I had known for years, and, when she went through her transition, like, the community embraced her. Sonic Fox is a player that the community has embraced, and it's just like, it's so awesome that the FGC helped me see a lot of this, you know what I mean? And it really kind of opened my eyes towards being more of a better human being, and being more, I don't even want to call it accepting of other people, because that sounds almost kind of holier than thou. They don't need my acceptance, right? It's me realizing that other people exist, and that the way that I am is just another form of life that other people may find weird. I mean, people out there probably think I'm weird if I tell them that I'm into esports and all that stuff, and they'll probably scoff, you know what I mean? And it's not accepting of other people, it's understanding that everybody is out there, everybody is different, and everything is valid, so long as you do not disrespect other people. So long as you just, so my philosophy in life is respect everybody. Everybody deserves respect until they disrespect someone else first. Because obviously there are people that you shouldn't respect at all. But a lot of the times that is because that they have started the cycle of disrespect to begin with, right? And so, again, unless they like candy corn, those people are trash. Well, see, if they like candy corn, they're disrespecting human taste, okay? So that's valid. That is absolute. But, that's basically, how it is. And I do feel like the fighting game community has helped do that for me. Has really helped open my eyes for a lot of things. So again, really, 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 really happy to be a part of this community and such. And, there's a lot of other small, minor things to be thankful for. For example, I'm very thankful for rollback netcode. Thank you, Tom and Tony Cannon. Thank you so much for rollback netcode, because I never thought fighting games would actually be playable online ever in my life. I just didn't think it would be a thing unless internet infrastructure just became ridiculous and we discovered some sort of light speed way to send data from one location to the other. But rollback netcode has really allowed us to play online and just made things so much better. I mean, you don't have to look any farther than Guilty Gear Strive. You see that the US is like clearly one of the strongest regions in Guilty Gear Strive, and it's because of rollback netcode, man. Like, rollback netcode is seriously something to be very, very, very grateful for. As much as I get mad and get salty, but that's my nature. Like, I just have to get mad, and it's just one of those tough things, right? When you're an emotional player like me, you just get mad because you hate losing and you hate admitting that you're not good enough when you lose. So you gotta blame something else. But as much as I hate Lucia, I'm also very thankful for Lucia existing in Street Fighter V and kind of being this character that I wanted to learn, honestly, because she really taught me Street Fighter V when I was playing Cammy before. So as I've told a lot of people out there, Street Fighter V is a very different game than all the other Street Fighter games. Very different mindset. And I went from Street Fighter 4 playing Cammy to Street Fighter 5 playing Cammy. And as a result, I just kept trying to play Street Fighter 5 like Street Fighter 4 because I was using a character. And Cammy, let's face it, is like the same goddamn character between both games. Like they just didn't change her much at all. And so actually switching over to Lucia and really finding this unique, very interesting character that I've really been enjoying playing, like I said, despite the salt, she really helped me learn the game and really was kind of like the catalyst for me understanding Street Fighter V. As a result, making my commentary a lot stronger for Street Fighter V, really getting me to play the game a lot better, and just really starting to understand the game. And as a result, me then being able to pass that on to other players, because as one of the biggest proponents, maybe the only proponent of the concept of fighting games appeal to different people, heart, mind, body kind of fighting games. You know, I make this massive distinction that Street Fighter V is a mind game and something like Super Turbo is a heart game. There's a lot of people out there that don't agree with this. And again, I'm not saying I'm right or they're wrong or anything like that, because all theories and stuff are valid and how you want to approach the game is different. But you know, from my perspective, I think that I have a lot of acute observations when it comes to this kind of thing. And by understanding the difference between mind games, heart games, mind players, and heart players, I feel like I've been able to be really, really good at teaching the game to people in my chats and on the streams. Like, I know what to point out to people, and I know how to evaluate players as well. I was helping someone else on my stream just recently, and very, very much a heart player. And so it's very interesting because, like, the mistakes that he was making were just like, I just understood them because I'm a heart player. So I knew exactly why the errors were happening, and I was able to kind of educate him that way. Oh God, Hello Kitty, I don't remember the names of any goddamn moves, dude. Like I play Lucia, and like if you try to tell me the difference between fire spinner, tornado spinner, whatever, all these flipper shot, firecracker, I still don't know which one's which, right? So, oh man. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just you were able to solve the puzzle your opponent solved quickly enough to beat them. Winning or losing is oddly just a byproduct, I think. It's figuring out your opponent or not. Yeah. Learning how to fight your opponent is one of the biggest things. And again, you know, that was one of the things I explained on my stream recently about that. I mean, like Jeremy and Tasty Steve are pretty good about it because they were on Street Fighter League. And so they had to use the actual move names. I just know run into shoulder is Gunsmoke, if I'm not mistaken, for Lucia. That's like the best I can do. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, Dr. Doom's super is going to be the up super till the end of time. I think it was a Sphere Flame. Sphere Flame, up super. Up super. I mean, again, I'm commentating Guilty Gear, and freaking Leo does his little, uppercut sword move, and it's still called a flash kick. Got him with the flash kick. Oh, flash kick IRC, dude. He doesn't even kick. He doesn't even kick in the move, and it's still a freaking flash kick. Hell, the Yoga Flame motion, half circle forward plus punch, isn't even the Yoga Flame anymore. Do a Yoga Flame plus punch. Dude, it's not even a Yoga Flame anymore, right? He doesn't flash or kick, exactly. Easian Sturm? Is that actually what it's called, C4? See, C4 would know. He's got the Leo Bible, okay? He's actually written the Leo Bible. And also, shout out to C4, by the way, just an example of people that I've been able to meet around the world without fighting games. I wouldn't know who C4 is, and right now, honestly, C4 is like one of my favorite people. Like, honestly, I love him to death, okay? I think he's awesome. But, you know, like, I actually did memorize, like, Zvite and Eins and stuff like that. I mean, dude, when you looked at the old, like, Guilty Gear guy, I mean, like, the old guides, is this the one here? No, that's the Nintendo Power. I have my old Darkstalkers guide out there. They actually had every single move named in all of every normal move named, because I always remember that Shenko's crouching heavy punch, the claws, was called Shadaloo for no reason. For no reason. Oh, this is the Maniac Mansion issue of Nintendo Power, Auric. Whew, it's getting dusty. Volume number 16. Volume number 16 of Nintendo Power here. And let me see if I can. Why do I have this here? I always have this here because I know people on my stream have seen this before. But on the NES Achievers list over here, let me see if I can do this. I might actually be able to do it better if I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this or not. Look. Tetris. James Chen. I was in the Nintendo Power Guide. And this was before I even thought about starting on other levels. I always started on level 1, so that's why my score was so low. And when I saw all the other scores, I was like, how did they get such high scores? And then I thought, oh, I could start on later levels. Oh! Yes, I grew up in San Bernardino. Was that the game where you had to steam the stamp off with the microwave? Wait, what game are you talking about? Oh, are you talking about Maniac Mansion? Yeah. I think so. Dude, speaking of Dizzy has a move in all the games that she's been in. Let me see. That me and my friend always called the eye. We're like, God, I hate that eye. That eye is so annoying. Blah blah blah. We would complain about the eye all the time. And then one time our friend was just sitting there watching us play, and we're like, God, I hate that eye. That eye is so annoying. And then our friend was like, are you calling that mouth an eye? And we were like, and then we just started laughing because, you know, this whole time it's that stupid little mouth that she throws out that like chomps you and stuff. And we've been calling it the eye for like, you know, 5 years for no goddamn reason. I don't even know why we called it the eye. And that's how accurate to move names we've been all our entire lives, man. Jesus. Oh God. But yeah, like what was I don't even, I've gone off the beaten path so badly at this point in time. Oh, it might be because of Zelda 2, maybe. Oh man. But yeah, so what was I saying? What was I thankful for? I said rollback netcode. I said Lucia, who helped me learn Street Fighter V and really helped me improve my commentary in the game. And like I said, I get salty when I play. I complain about the character when I play. It's just my nature. I have to. It's so hard for me to like not get mad because I'm so emotional. So I don't think Lucy is the worst character in the game. I don't even think she's actually bad, but boy, she's frustrating to use sometimes. But yeah, again, I'm thankful for, since Auric is here, this is the one that I thought of right here. I'm thankful for, old classic games being preserved in arcades and for emulation, right? Fightcade, arcade cabinets, these kind of things. Mister, these things are so important. Video games never used to be playable. Like, video games have always been very scary because unlike films, unlike music, they just can't be promoted. They can't be what's the word I'm trying to think of? Ported. They cannot be ported to the new platform like that, right? Music is just like, oh, okay, let's hear digital music, video. And in fact, we'll have people dedicated to cleaning up film or remastering music and et cetera, and they can fix a lot of these things. Dude, video games, it's just not like that, because video games from the ground up, built on a specific hardware, that hardware is unique to the game. And so the Dreamcast, like, not even just arcade boards we're talking about here, but we're talking about just like a Dreamcast and a PlayStation 3 and a Super Nintendo. The hardware between those three are just completely different beasts. You cannot just say, hey, let's port this game from one system to another, or even to the PC, because it just doesn't work that way. So the effort of the misters out there, the guys who are using the Mister emulation, the FPGAs, to be able to port these old fighting games, because we are living in such a different age now for fighting games. Someone in the chat earlier said that people kind of stop playing older games when the new one comes out. That's not even really just true. You can't just replace Dreamcast.jar with PlayStation.jar. Oh, man. I mean, misters are expensive because everybody wants them right now, but, give it some time. I'm sure once it gets perfected and proliferated a little bit more, and there's an ability to mass produce them a little bit easier, they'll go down in price, hopefully. But again, we are seeing that. I mean, even to the point that ArcSys understands this so much that they're porting rollback netcode into Xrd. Like, I've never heard, like, when Street Fighter V came out, I don't know how many people in the chat were there when Street Fighter V, the transition between Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter V, but literally at the last Capcom Cup for Street Fighter 4, Capcom put out a thank you and goodbye Street Fighter 4 video, because it was like Capcom was trying so hard to kill that game just so everybody would move on to Street Fighter 5. Like, there was seriously this video, like after Capcom Cup, thank you, Street Fighter 4. It was wonderful. You gave us all we will remember you. And then it was just like, everyone I remember there watching it was like, Jesus Christ, like, damn. Like, did they just, like, literally just go and, like, stab Street Fighter 4, like, in the heart, and just be like, thank you for your time, kind of thing. But, to have ArcSys go with Strive, with having characters coming out, and then announce rollback for Xrd is absolutely amazing, to be honest. And so we're at a time where games like Sailor Moon S can get a resurgence, and I can't even say a resurgence, it just gained a scene. An old Super Nintendo fighting game gained a scene, and because of Fightcade and stuff, there are plenty of people playing all these old Capcom fighting games constantly, and it's really, really, really cool. And shout outs to those guys, and I'm thankful for the guys who do still try to preserve that arcade culture, because the arcade culture is the best still, and nothing's quite like it. Again, as an old man in the FGC, it sounds like I'm being, an old man, like, oh, you're just living in the past. Get with the times, old man. But yes, were most arcades shitty? Yeah. But if you found the right arcade and had that scene, you cannot replace it. You cannot replace the arcade scene, and the benefits that we gain from it are missing. There's a lot of benefits that we gain. Now, do we have a lot of benefits in the online era right now? Oh, hell yeah! Like, the benefits are probably better now than they were back then, but there is something very fundamentally missing from the FGC in terms of the social aspect of fighting games that we don't get while playing online. And that is one of the things to try to solve to improve ranked matches, is to try to make it a more social environment, because it's not a social environment right now. It's a very lonely environment, and it makes playing fighting games very, very frustrating, because it's either constant loss, or it's just you don't give yourself some time to relax. You don't give your brain to process anything. I have a lot of ideas on how to fix that in the online world, but I don't know how many people would actually take it. I don't know how many people would actually go with it, but I think that there's a lot of importance to it, honestly. That arcades really created in a social aspect. And I don't even mean talking to people and making friends. I even mean just being forced to sit down and watch other people play fighting games. Like being forced to watch while you're waiting for your turn again on the arcade cabinet is one of the most beneficial things that can happen in fighting games. It really is, weirdly enough, because it gives you a chance to process things, to watch, to learn, and to see what other people do. If you're playing fighting games on ranked all day, you're not seeing what other people are doing. You're trapped in your own bubble, and you just don't get this idea of what it is that you're supposed to do. And it's tough. It's very, very tough to learn in that kind of environment, because it is an exercise in frustration and salt. And, arcades definitely can alleviate that. Again, were there assholes at the arcade that would make it far worse? Yeah, of course. But there's a lot of good things about it. What else am I thankful for? Okay, you know what? I'm thankful to Quamba for giving me a brand new joystick recently. And they gifted me this joystick, the Quamba Dragon. So shout outs to them. God, the thing is so heavy. I swear I'm gonna break it. When I'm carrying it, because I'm like holding it at a really not a good place. But it's great because it makes it feel like the arcade. It makes it feel like I'm playing on the arcade, because the thing is hefty and sturdy. So I'm really happy for that. It makes it feel a lot more. You probably could sleep on that as a bed. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So Ponza says, that's why I like Rumbleverse. When I get KO'd early, I can either be a salty whiner and quit out and queue up again, or I can watch the players in the game and see how they do, since everything can be reproduced. Exactly. That ability to watch, that's one of the things that's most missing from online in fighting games, is forcing people to watch fighting games. To watch it, and I think that's really, really important. So I'm thankful for James's commitment to doing viewer lobbies in 2023. Is that a hint? Doc Helmet, is that a hint? You can play it on your lap. Currently, the system that I'm using is kind of a half and half. I play it half on a desk and half on my lap. And it seems to work pretty decently right now. I do have a tendency to accidentally jump up left by accident on the setup. I used to play it just on the stand, but my stand is very wobbly, so it wasn't very good. But yeah, I'm thankful that Street Fighter 6 looks like they're doing a lot of things right. I'm really thankful that Street Fighter 6 seems like that they're actually trying to find ways to get more people in and have more casual modes, and giving us more one-player stuff, and giving us all the content, that's in the game. I think that's something that's been missing from a lot of fighting games, and I really hope it's a game changer. I hope it makes everybody else try to do the same thing as well. I'm thankful that all the fighting games are so fucking good right now. I mean, honestly, they're so good. In the arcade days, a lot of people will put their quarters up and not really talk to people. In some ways, the online community is way more connected. Yeah, in some ways, but like I said, it wasn't even necessarily about talking to other people. It was just about watching other people play, especially when you lost on the arcade cabinet. See, when you lose in ranked, a lot of the times you're just like, God, this guy is such a scrub. Like, God, I totally should have been beating this guy. Like, this guy sucks and whatever. And you just get mad. But then in the arcades, when that guy beats you, you watch someone else fight them. And a lot of the times that guy would beat the next guy, and then the next guy after that, and the next guy after that. And you're like, well, maybe this guy's not as bad. And so like you can kind of wash off the salt a little. You can rinse out the salt a little bit that way, right? Because a lot of times when you play someone casually, you're just like, this guy's a scrub. But then if the guy did turn out that they scrubbed you out, and then you see the next player beat them up, you'll be like, okay, that's what I should have done. That's what I should have done. So again, it's not even necessarily about communicating with other people, but the ability to continue the narrative of the person that you just played is so important in fighting games, because ranked teaches us to use everything in our power to blow up this guy online, get our points, and move on. Arcade teaches you that I can beat this guy, but he's coming back once 3/4 are back. So I got to remember how to fight this guy. And if I lose to him, I can watch other people fight this guy and see what he's doing. Like, you continue this ability to build a little bit more on your strength. The online scene of forcing you to constantly, like, the thing that makes a lot of players stronger are, like, for example, in Guilty Gear Strive, are the fact that players like Razzo, like Jonathan Tene, like Umisho and all these guys, they play long sets with each other over and over and over and over and over again. So they're learning that. But if you're only playing ranked, you do lose a lot of that ability. And yeah, exactly. Viewer lobbies are a lot better, that you get that ability to learn a lot more. And so, yeah, with Street Fighter 6, I will definitely be trying to throw some viewer lobbies. Duck Helmet, okay? I get the message. I get. But yeah. But yeah, there's just a lot of nice things about that, to be honest with you. So I want to do the KOF lobbies, but man, I just all right, let's get to some things I'm not thankful for. I am not thankful for KOF matchmaking, okay? I am definitely not thankful for KOF matchmaking. I am not thankful for the Guilty Gear lobbies, as we mentioned earlier. But I will definitely say that and KOF is one of the games that has made me really, really sad recently, to be honest with you, because I wanted to play it. I really liked the game. I wanted to play it a lot more, and honestly, I haven't played it that much at all. And it's really just because the ranked system doesn't work. And for me to learn a game, I want to do that. Like when I play Soul Calibur on my viewer lobbies, like everyone that I play against is so freaking good. And it's hard for me to learn in that environment. Like I don't improve very quickly that way. But you know, when I play something like Street Fighter 5 and I have the ranked and the skill-based matchmaking, it's helpful for me to learn. It really is. The skill-based matchmaking system is very helpful to learn. It really, really is, because you do have that ability to keep fighting people of your own strength. Again, that didn't happen in the arcades, but like I said, watching them play is a very important thing, and you don't get that. So early on in KOF 15's lifespan, I was watching a shit ton of KOF 15 videos, and that helped a lot. And then it's just all kind of tapered off, to be honest with you. So, God. Yeah, Mike, it's so frustrating, dude. It's so frustrating. Yeah, ranked is stressful. Ranked is stressful, and I tell that to people, and a lot of people tell me that ranked is just fine. I'm like, well, the reason why you're telling me that is because you're still in the fighting game community and on Twitter and following me, and you're talking to me because you're predisposed to enjoy that lifestyle. But there's a lot of people out there that don't enjoy that lifestyle, who have disappeared, who are not on Twitter talking to me at all anymore. And so I'm not going to hear them be like, yeah, James, you're absolutely right. Ranked sucks. Because ranked really does suck a lot. It's definitely being put in an environment that's catering to learning is very, very important. I'm definitely not thankful for KOF auto combos. I wish you could turn off KOF auto combos. That'd be nice. But again, definitely not thankful for the KOF 15 matchmaking and the Strive lobby system. Like I said, the Strive lobby system is not the fault. It's the tuning of the lobby system that's the fault. Like I said, if floor 10 didn't account for you're not a beginner all the way to you're one of the best, like you're in the top 1% of players, because that's floor 10. And like somehow everything is like beginner. It's like floor 1 is like super beginner, and then like kind of beginner, then you kind of know what you're doing. You're okay. You know how to do specials pretty decently. And then it's like, it's just not balanced well, honestly. Wait, Crofts, you mean on Third Strike? Wait, what? Are you talking about him, JM Crofts, or a different JM? What happened? What happened? Oh, man. Anything else I'm not thankful for? I am still not thankful for all the people who do want to make the FGC miserable for other people. Not thankful for the people who aren't inclusive in the FGC. But again, FGC has generally been not as bad as some other communities, weirdly enough. Even though, like I said, we obviously still have our problems out there. I was trying to say I'm very thankful for the fact that all the fighting games are good. I'm like, honestly, like, you play fighting games back in my time, and the lack of balance and the lack of quality in fighting games, holy crap, like Time Killers, Mace the Dark Age, War Gods. I mean, I will say Street Fighter the movie, but people are going to come after me for saying that. But, there's like all these games out there that are they were just awful. And then you had games like CVS1 where the balance is terrible. And like, as much as we love ST and Third Strike, God, the balance in those games is awful. It's just the worst thing imaginable. And like, honestly, like, it's amazing that you can count on a fighting game. You're more likely going to have a good fighting game than a bad one these days. And I'm thankful that companies are more aware of the tournament scene. I'm thankful for these tournament circuits. I'm thankful for the guys like Chris Seglia and Hanzo Gonzo and, guys running 10-0 and Vive for running Level Up Live and all these things like that for really helping turn the FGC into something more global, into more of an actual thing so the developers care and listen. And I mean, look, as we talked about, thankful for being a rollback. Strive wouldn't have had rollback if it wasn't for fans letting them know, right? Obviously, don't go into Ed Boon's timeline and just cry about Melina all day and stuff like that. But, finding a productive way to get people to understand what we're going through is very, very important. But even still, Flashy Flash, you say all old games have horrible balance because they're stuck in an unpatched meta. But I will say that DNF Duel, despite Swiftmaster, Strive on launch, most of these fighting games on launch, KOF 15 on launch, they're some of the most balanced versions of these games like ever. Like ever. And it's really impressive, to be honest with you. It's really impressive how balanced these fighting games are, because trust me, as much as you're just like, God, Swiftmaster's so dumb. Yeah, Swiftmaster's obviously dumb, but man, like, you look at the old CVS1 Nakos, like, I don't even know if I could name you a character that I feel like was more broken than CVS1 Nakaruru. honestly. And yeah, Mike is right too. We did have patch games back then. Mortal Kombat's got patched frequently. You know, there was the Third Strike update. There was Alpha 3.0 Alpha Upper and stuff like that. And it was what made Nako crazy. Everything comboed, everything was damaged, everything was safe. She was super fast. And she just, like, short, fierce in the slide, did, like, a ton of damage. And it was just so, like, she just jumped super fast, had the most amazing cross-up light kick, short, fierce slide. And if you did it, the slide, like, even if you did the slide, it was, like, safe anyway for no reason whatsoever. And she was just such a dumb character. dumb character. But yeah, arcade games did get patched. They would get new updates that you swapped out a chip or something like that. So they did get patched every once in a while. Like I said, Mortal Kombat 3 was one of the famous ones because it just came out as a beta in all the arcades. Like, they just released the beta to everybody. At one point in time, everybody's fatality in Mortal Kombat 3 was a combination of block and run. It was like run, block, or run, block, and whatever like that, because it was just a beta that they just threw out there, and like eventually it got like changed and patched, etc., etc. Yeah, but I am thankful for DLC and patches as well, for not having to buy a whole new game. You know, talk to the Blaze Blue players, right? Like how frustrating it was to have to go from Calamity Trigger to Continuum Shift to, you know, all the different Chrono Phantasma and then whatever versions there all are, you know, having to buy a new game every single time. But now we have this system, and, you know, really thankful that Capcom has, you know, kind of set the precedent again to not make you buy new things, because Street Fighter V, they specifically said we're never releasing a brand new disc that you have to buy, you know, kind of thing. As long as you own the game, it'll always be updated. And also thankful that Capcom releases the collections that they do too, with stuff like Ultra Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 that came with everything on it, right? Like, it's nice. It's nice that they do that. Like, I wouldn't have any of the costumes if it wasn't for that. Like, I literally would have no costumes. But thankfully, they released those versions, and, you know, for discounted prices too, which is really, really nice and really cool. And I wish other fighting games would do that more, because it was still very expensive to buy Dragon Ball and Tekken for the longest of time on multiple platforms. And that's one thing that fighting game developers have to realize too, is that a lot of hardcore players are going to buy these games on multiple platforms, unfortunately. I'm thankful for these little chunks over here. Jasmine running around here. But that's not fighting game related. But you know what? Here, let's just move this on to a whole open discussion over here. What are you guys thankful for right now? I know there's not a ton of you in the chat right here, but if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube or something like that, let me know what you're thankful for fighting game wise, because obviously there's a lot of things to be thankful for outside of fighting games. But, you know, what are you thankful to the FGC for, right? What is it? What are the things that FGC has managed to bring for you that you are thankful for? So, yeah, actually, it's a good point. So Converse says, thankful that we are still a thriving community. Yeah, that COVID didn't kill us. I don't know if people remember, but when COVID first struck, a lot of people were thinking, like, are we done? Are we dead? You're thankful that I licked the arcade stick. Oh, God. I'm surprised that tweet didn't get retweeted more. Oh, man. Yeah, thankful for Fightcade, Third Strike. Zilcho says, thankful for me, appreciate that. Hitboxes for saving the hands and wrists of a new generation. Yeah, I mean, again, depending on the person, right? Because Sajam definitely hurt himself more thanks to the hitbox than a joystick. So again, depends on the person. So yeah, thankful that you could turn off the commentary in Street Fighter 6. Agreed. Creating content, says Servbot Phil. Duck Helmet says, thankful for my help and advice to keep me going in fighting games. Very much helped me as a beginner. Again, twitch.tv/jchenzo. I try to help beginners all the time. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not thankful that Potemkin still sucks. Not thankful for Lucia's stubby ass normals and her shitty ass fireball. Ugh. There are a lot of great games out there. Like I said, all the fighting games out there are great, and all the other games too, as well. Glad there are people whose love and whose passions built and maintain a community that I would one day find and fall in love with. Well, glad you're here, Tiny Tex. I'm thankful that Remy Celeste actually tweeted out, I tried Potemkin for a while, and holy crap, if you use any other character, you're not allowed to complain unless you use Potemkin. And even then, you know what you signed up for. I had to respond to that tweet and just be like, thank you. God, Potemkin is such a struggle. Holy crap. Oh, man. I'm thankful Capcom put Akira in Street Fighter V, giving us a little taste of rival schools. That's true. I'm also thankful for Capcom for hiring me to make the next generation rival schools game. Capcom? Come on, maybe. Oh, man. It'd be so awesome if I could make that game. I would make the sickest game. No, there's not actually a new rival schools being developed. I'm just saying, if there is, please talk to me, because I already know how to make that game amazing and very unique and very, very cool. Being able to DP on reaction, thankful for putting in time to DP on reaction. I need to learn that. My DPs are awful. Yeah, Veritas. I mean, you weren't the only one who said that, but a lot of people are gonna say it. Thankful for Fightcade, for sure. Fightcade is one of the best things that we have. I even said it as one of my main thanks as well. How much that I think Fightcade is so important for the FGC to preserve the history of fighting games, honestly. So he tried pot and lost and went on to play Overwatch 2. Yeah, dude, Potemkin. Oh, thankful for arcades being still in business where you're at, Gunter. Where you're at, not here. Rollback and crossplay starting to become the norm. We will be thankful if the PlayStation 5 gives us the opportunity to increase our refresh rate as well as our controller polling timing, please. Man. Yep. Carlitos, I definitely said that as well. The Mr. and Fightcade are so important. Obviously, Fightcade is doing great jobs for emulation, but Mr. being able to create like as authentic of a replication of a pre-existing game as possible is so important. I mean, look, David, every time I visit Japan, I'm like, I should go and explore Osaka this time. But then I think about to myself that if I'm not in Tokyo, I don't get to play at Hey Arcade and play 10 yen ST. So I spend all my time in Tokyo anyway. I really need to explore other areas of Japan. So I need to convince myself that maybe for this next Evo to go to Osaka, to try to go to Kobe and maybe try some authentic Kobe beef or something like that. Something. Man. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Mashing 360. That's what I was talking about, the PlayStation trying to catch up to a lot of what the PCs can do. And of course, that's been one of the biggest discussions, but reason being is that, honestly, like, the PCs are a better place to play fighting games, absolutely, but I am not thankful for the fact that the consoles have this problem. I hope we can develop a parity between the two platforms, consoles and PC, so that regardless of what your flavor is, you have the option to play fighting games at their most optimal online with everybody else, because I think that that's really, really important. Yeah. Oh, dang. That's nice, Carlitos, that you actually have a lot of versus cities in your area. Thankful for fight sticks and other controllers are easy to get. Yes. So Hello Kitty, I guess, knows, in the past how hard it was to get joysticks, man. I had to spend like so much money to import joysticks, and they were so sought after that most of my joysticks got stolen at events. They just basically... And tournaments used to get held up. Like, we had a tournament for MVC2 and nobody could play because everyone wanted to use Justin's Moss stick. Justin's Moss stick was tuned in such a way that was similar to the arcades, and so everyone wanted to play particularly Justin's joystick. Even they didn't want to play other Moss sticks because they could all be tuned differently. But the fact that we're all used to the same kind of sticks now, it's really, really nice. The square gates, for example, before we had perfect 360s, octo gates, square gates, and all these different things. And it was really hard to share joysticks between people, but now everybody can just play joysticks anywhere. So you only started playing fighting games in December last year? Wow, welcome, Hello Kitty, to the scene then. Hope you've been enjoying it. And like I said, I love helping beginners. I don't know, in a year you might have gotten super good already. I never know, because everybody learns at different paces. But, I'm always here on twitch.tv/jchenzor as well. And if you ever need advice or help, just let me know. I play Octogate so that no one wants to use my joystick. That works too. Oh, you hit dive. Okay, so Hello Kitty, you're just one of those people who got attuned to fighting games very, very quickly. You're probably better at Street Fighter V than I am. Almost not even a question at this point. But yeah, it's anything else that you guys are thankful for here for the fighting game community? Again, really just thankful for the experience, for the life that it's given me, honestly. Like, I don't think, there's a lot of people out there who will look back and be like, boy, I wish I did things differently. If I could live my life again, I would do things differently. And I don't know if I would. I honestly don't know if I would. Like, thinking back on what's happened, I feel like I'm in a good place right now. And I feel like I'm happy. Honestly. So, it's great. Return of the Not Tuesday Not Show. Don't worry. Okay, so again, I already know kind of what I want to rebrand the entire stream to. I kind of already have a new name and everything like that. The problem is it's creating the assets. Honestly, that's the part that I'm the laziest about, is changing the title screen and trying to rebrand everything. I still have crossed out Not Tuesday Show up here in the upper left and stuff, so I got to create all these new assets, and that's what I got to do. So, is Hello Kitty even allowed as a gamer tag in the FGC? Why? Because Ricky Ortiz took it a long time ago. I don't know if a lot of people don't know, but Ricky Ortiz used to be Hello Kitty. Ricky Ortiz, she's been playing for over a decade now. She's been playing for over a decade. Yeah, so it was Hello Kitty, I think, was what she goes by. So one of the most famous fighting game players of all time. One of the classic fighting game players of all time. Been around forever, been one of the best for the longest of time. The first year for Street Fighter IV at EVO, Daigo defeated Justin Wong in grand finals. The second year at EVO, Daigo defeated Ricky Ortiz in grand finals. Ricky Ortiz also lost in grand finals in CVS2 at EVO to Kindebu. Ricky Ortiz was my teammate in a CVS1 tournament a long time ago. Her history goes back very, very, very far. She is one of the most prolific and important players. Second place at Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V as well, the year that NuckleDu won. So the first year for Street Fighter V, NuckleDu won it, but Ricky Ortiz was in second place. So Ricky Ortiz has been playing fighting games forever now. Yeah, for decades. Literal decades. Come here, Jasmine. 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 So she knows. This is the problem with Jazz. Like Nathan, he just comes up here and then I just grab him, whatever. Jasmine knows that when I'm sitting here talking to whatever she thinks I'm talking to not come up here, because then I always try to grab her and like show her off to the stream and stuff. So like she knows not to come over here. She's smart. She's wise. Let's see if I can get her. Let's see if I can bait her with the table again here. I've got this little port on the table here that she likes to come after. Let's see if I can get her to. Oh, there it is. There it is, Jasmine. Come here. It's up here. It's up here. It's up here. What is that? What is that? Let's see if I can get her. Let's see if I can get her. Oh, no. She tried to run. She tried to run. Come on. Come on, Jasmine. Oh, got her. Oh, she's not happy. She's not happy. Oh. She's like, stop using me to try to get views on your damn stream. Oh, man. All right, fine, Jasmine. Fine. Be that way. Be that way. Come here, Jasmine. There you go. There you go. What is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, she ran away again. Damn it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, trust me. I'm thankful for Jasmine and Nathan as well. Very, very thankful. Yeah, I hope to see Ricky play again once Street Fighter 6 come out. She's not as involved as much anymore, but I think it's just a lot of the old school players don't enjoy Street Fighter 5 as much as they enjoyed a lot of the older games. And again, for the reasons that I've already documented many, many times about the heart game versus the mind game kind of thing. Street Fighter 6 definitely feels like a stronger balance between heart and mind. So I do think a lot of the old school players will actually find success this time. You know, a lot of players, old school players like Graham Wolf and all these guys, Jason Cole, you know, they swore that when Street Fighter V came out that now you players will learn. There's more validity, I think, to it in Street Fighter 6. And again, that's not just going to mean that they were better or anything like that. It's just different games just treat different players differently. So, honestly. Thankful for Anime Fighter. Thankful for Trip Guard. Yes, even though people don't know how to use that word correctly, for sure. Because yeah, I made up the term Trip Guard. Oh yeah, Nuki. I talk about Nuki all the time. Daigo talks about that. Daigo says Nuki's not very good at Street Fighter V. And he's like, does that mean Nuki's a bad fighting game player? He's like, no. It's just that he doesn't want to study, so he can't learn Street Fighter V because Street Fighter V is such a studying game. You know, there's no release date for Street Fighter 6 at all yet, so I'm thankful for getting a taste so far of belonging to a community since I'm not in school or the church anymore. That's cool, Carrie and Shade. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you get to travel to an event one of these days. I am thankful there are many companies making fighting games nowadays, says Hello Kitty. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, again, before Street Fighter 4, there were no fighting games. Like, there was just Tekken and Guilty Gear and, like, Blaze Blue. And that was kind of like it. And even Guilty Gear had stopped at that time. Like, Blaze Blue was the Guilty Gear replacement. So it was mostly just, like, Tekken and, like, Blaze Blue for a little bit. And then Street Fighter 4 came out. And then everybody started making fighting games again. Well, yeah. So since you're new to the FGC, Hello Kitty, Riot's fighting game is being developed by Tom and Tony Cannon, who originally created Radiant. No, what was their company called? Radiant. I think they were called Radiant, where they were developing Rising Thunder. They're also the creators of Rollback Netcode for fighting games. and the creators of EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament of all time. So Tom and Tony Cannon are two of the most... I'm thankful for Tom and Tony Cannon for keeping fighting games alive with EVO during the fighting game dark ages. Tom and Tony Cannon are two of the most influential, most important people to the fighting game community that we've ever had. And yes, they created the EVO Championship Series. They ran B3, they ran B4, they ran B5, then they changed it to EVO, and then they ran EVO from all the way up there. They're the ones who created EVO. They created rollback netcode the first time for Final Burn, using the Final Burn emulator. And then they went on to make their own fighting game called Rising Thunder. They got bought out by Riot, and now they're making Project L. EVO is the biggest event of the year for the FGC, yes. Well, EVO wasn't supposed to be evil, but they called it Evolution because everyone kept saying how evil they were, even back in the day. So it was like a joke that they called themselves Evolution. And now it's just EVO. Evo is Evo. But yeah, there was definitely an Evo/evil joke in there somewhere because everybody was always mad at the decisions they made at like B4 and B5 and stuff. And people were always complaining about everything, even back then. So some things don't change after time. But yeah, Tom and Tony have had their fingers in across the FGC pool for a long time. I am thankful of, the streaming era allowing us to try to do this stuff for fighting games. I mean, we had always dreamed about fighting games being in stadiums. There's that scene from Bang the Machine where Alex Vai is watching a Japanese tournament with his friends, and he's like, can you imagine that, man? In Japan, they have these like in arenas and stuff, man. And you can see the look on his eye like, man, if only it was like that here in the States. And it is now. It is now. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, Carlitos, I mean, that's another one of those things, right? Everybody wants a retro Evo, but if you ran a retro Evo, not a lot of people would probably show up to it. It'll probably lose a ton of money because it's one of those things that everyone says they want, but then when it happens, nobody actually supports it. So, yeah, B2 came after B3. So there was the Boston Brawl. That was one of the infamous John Choi goes into the losers bracket round 1, I think it was, and then he wins the tournament. But that came after B3, not actually part of the B series. They just called it B2 as a joke because it was Boston Brawl, it was BB, so hey, we'll call it B2, like Battle by the Bay existed. And so that's what caused the Cannons to call B3 the next year B4, not the next year, but years later, to call it B4 to kind of continue this joke. And then B5, and then they're like, you know what, this is dumb, let's just give it a real name. And then they called it Evo eventually. So yeah, YouTube, Twitch, content creators definitely making it much easier to learn fighting games as well. So there's a lot to be thankful for when it comes to fighting games, honestly, and a lot of things that, like I said, I've been able to connect to people all around the world. I've been able to help people. A lot of people have been able to help me. Just a lot of good connection out there. And really, in the end, isn't the fighting game community really just about the friends we made along the way? Because honestly, like most of my best friends are like fighting game players and stuff. And, it's a joke to say that. It's a meme or whatever like that. But it's really true, honestly. Fighting game community definitely did a lot of, has helped me meet a lot of wonderful people and stuff. And so, it's great. It's really, it's fantastic. And it's something that hard to trade. Yeah. And some of us have made enemies and some enemies have become friends. John Choi and Alex Vai just posted a picture holding each other's kids. And they were definitely enemies for a very long time. Very famous story. That they both flew out to the Midwest Championships to play in a Street Fighter 3 tournament because the Midwest was like, our players are the best. And so they flew out John Choi and Alex Vai to come and challenge them. And Alex Vi and John Choi were enemies at the time because that was the NorCal-SoCal rivalry. And they both got stranded in Arizona, I think on the way back or on the way there. I forgot, just because of flight delays. And they just started chilling and chatting, and then they became really good friends. And then since then, they've actually been really, really, really good friends. And in fact, after Vi came home, and, you know, it started becoming obvious that Vi and Choi were actually good buddies at that point in time, Mike Watson actually got mad at Vi for making friends with the enemies. You know, like worried that he would lose the drive kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, enemies become friends, friends become enemies, etc., etc. I mean, to be honest with you, Gunter, you're still part of the FGC. You're here, right? I mean, you've been to Evo Japan and stuff like that, right? So you're still as much a part of it. As long as you're watching, you're still a part of it. I tell people this all the time. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't count as the FGC until you've been to a major. Fuck that. Like, if you've been watching and you're still invested in fighting games and you still enjoy watching it, it's good enough, man. That's just how it works, man. It's just how it works. So, yeah, you're still fighting game community to me. So you'll always be my X-Men versus Street Fighter Infinite combo buddy. I don't think it's going to be the future, but it's going to be part of the future, Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty asked, do you think online tourneys is the future with online getting better? It's going to be part of it. It's just going to be part of it. It's got to be the two together. Whoa, did you just change? What, Munka? Oh, Infinite High Count. Wait, what the heck? That's the other David, right? Where did you come from? What the hell? We got all the old school people here. We got the Infinite High Council members in here. What the hell, dude? Oh my God. Yeah, we had an old group for X-Men versus Street Fighter days called the Infinite High Council, where all we did was try to find as many infinites in X-Men versus Street Fighter as possible. So we were the IHC, the Infinite High Council. Oh man, I even created a little Yahoo group mail that every time you sent to it, we would all get them and stuff. Oh man, those were the days. Those were the days. Yeah, artists and cosplayers, everybody who's doing anything with it. Because like I said, that's the thing, is being able to use your talent to help the fighting game community works great ways. Like, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, Boss Logic, right? We all know who Boss Logic is, right? I mean, he's that guy who does all those crazy, like, Marvel posters and all that stuff like that. Boss Logic got his start making trailers for the fighting game community. Like, people don't know. Boss Logic his brother is, like, one of the people who used to run one of the tournaments in Australia. Like, Boss Logic's background is entirely part of the fighting game community. A lot of the first graphics that he would make is he would actually take, like, real people and turn them into Street Fighter characters and stuff. So he made, like, these beautiful photoshops of, like, a realistic looking Guile or a realistic looking, you know, Cammy or Chun-Li or something like that. That's where Boss Logic got his start from. And now Boss Logic has been, like, on freaking, like, talk shows at night and stuff like that. And so he's actually, he's been, a lot of people got their start in the FGC, man. It's all there, so. Oh, man. Wait, what are you talking about, David? Is there actually did you turn the Infinite High Council archive or something like that? That's crazy. I don't think I knew about that, or maybe I did and I forgot. But yeah, a lot of people in the fighting game community have gone on to do a lot of great things, and it's really cool to see, and I love seeing that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter where your skill level lies, you can find ways to do it. A lot of the artists, you know, have found their ways to help the FGC a lot. A lot of music writers. I mean, Red Rapper, aka Zed Tabani. I got him to make a bunch of music for Evo intros, and now, you know, he's doing some cool stuff. And he went to a really awesome music school, was the first rapper at this very prestigious music school in Boston. And just a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff. So what do you think about possibly killing Twitter? Actually, I was going to talk about that today, but I figured I would save that for next week as just a full discussion. So I had more time to to kind of wax on it and discuss it a little bit more in detail. So I definitely want to talk about that a little bit more next week. But you know what? I think I've been kind of talking about this and talking about the things I'm thankful for and stuff, you know. And so I think that'll about do it for today, unless anybody else has anything last second they want to ask or talk about, or, you know, suggest things to be thankful for. But outside of that, like, I think that's all I've got for today. Just, again, always trying to breed a lot of the positivity, talk about the cool things about the fighting game community. Too often it's really just about the negativity. So it's really cool to talk about, you know, these kind of things, tell these stories, and talk about the good sides of the FGC. Oh, man. Deleted your Twitter account. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And yeah, Shay, for sure. Everybody, please, if you can. I won't go into details. It's up to him if he wants to talk about it or not. But please, everyone, send your thoughts to Shay in the chat as well. So hopefully he can stay safe and he'll be okay. So, but again, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. Hopefully, yeah, thankful for Twitch. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for Twitch and this kind of stream stuff like this, how often would I be able to talk to Gunter again? He doesn't even remember. I told the story that he was one of the guys that came and picked me up for Evo one year. It was him and Madge who brought me back to Evo to make sure I saw my own 2-hit combo video debut there, and then also that's allowed me to be there live for the Daigo parry as well. So I'm very, very thank you. Hello Kitty says thankful for the Ultra Chen TV podcast. Appreciate that very much. Like I said, a lot of love around here in the FGC. Yeah, someone else did mention it, but I'll mention it again. Thankful for Tetris Grandmaster console release in like a week. Oh, here's the other guy. See, he doesn't fight as much. He just kind of resigns to defeat. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Meow. Hi, Nathan. For those of you on the podcast, you guys are used to this already. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, you know you just sit here and listen to me go, hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. All day. So you guys are just like, yeah, okay, he's snuggling his cat again. Oh, man. What a dorky cat. And now he's rubbing his head on the microphone. All you people on the podcast definitely are used to this sound as well. All right. Well, in any case, I bid you all a good night. And, you know, definitely, if you, I'm thankful for families and friends, you know, for some, you know, true Thanksgiving stuff. I hope you guys all have a great day on Thursday, whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or not. And for those of you, you know, I may even stream that day because my family gathering is for lunch. And so I might come home and maybe I'll stream at night. So if you guys do find yourself alone on Thanksgiving night, keep an eye on twitch.tv/jchenzor. And perhaps what I'll do is I'll stream that night and we can all hang out together. So, you know, and we can be the FGC family together on stream. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy your time if you are spending time with family, or even if it is a Friendsgiving, because friends oftentimes are just as or even more important than family as well. So, hope you guys all have a great 4-day weekend. Take care, and I will see you guys next time on the Not Tuesday show. Have a good night and peace out. And viewer lobbies. All right. Viewer lobbies. Got it.